With the 5 areas I've chosen, graphic design, video games, fashion, photography, and psychology, I found that the texts I have read all link to ourselves, more specifically the mind. In graphic design, the use of symbols sparks familiarity in our minds. It's something we're subconsciously drawn to, which is what creates a good design. From viewing these designs, our minds can grasp more of a story from them than what is literally seen, allowing consciousness to grasp and hold the design and the communication effectively and efficiently. This is also seen within photography. The quote, "What the tree or rock may signify, the associative meaning, the connotations, is what makes a photograph a good or great photograph," again shows how the mind is able to create more meaning to what could seemingly be a meaningless photo when it's taken in a non-literal sense. The association our minds make is what creates the image or design. Association is also something seen within fashion. The clothes we choose to wear can be quite symbolic, and people will associate our style with certain characteristics, basically stereotyping. Strangers meet with no more than a fleeting moment to make an impression on each other, meaning the fashion choices we make will introduce ourselves to others. Our minds make on-the-fly decisions on social interactivity based on quickly read information. This links into the psychology text I read, stating we have a tendency to categorize people according to some readily identifiable characteristics. We subconsciously label each other to understand our social standings, for example, in the 19th century to distinguish the working class from the upper class. This psychology text also ties the knot in my links with design and photography. It quotes, "Perception is not just a matter of passively picking up information from the senses, but the product of an active construction process that involves combining input from sensory signals with other information," and goes on to say how we perceive patterns to create meaning. This backs up the connection I had with graphic design and photography, and in a way with fashion in the way we perceive clothing. Going back to how our minds affect our social interactivity, the video games text covers this topic and how video games do this to us. The book claims, addicted video game players get their gratifications from the unreal world of video games, and not from the real world. They may not get enough practice in being with others and accommodating themselves to the demands of others and of society, basically stating how our mind's dependency on games could cause us to become antisocial. Other ways of video games affecting our minds includes the desensitization to viewing violence, where games imprint certain pathways to the brain that have an effect on the behavior of the players. Overall, I think I have found an interesting connection between all 5 of my topics and texts, with the way they all interact with the psyche of our minds. It was also cool to see the many little links between a few of the subjects, which informed the bigger picture.